Do you ever feel like homeschooling, or maybe just parenting or life in general, is just a never-ending to-do list? Homeschool planning and actual homeschooling and classes and extracurricular activities and appointments, and then having to do all the things that we need to do, it can get overwhelming and not so much fun, not a lot of joy. But there's ways that we can make homeschooling less stressful and more joyful. And I'm here to talk to you about the book Essentialism. And so Essentialism is a business book. Yes, I'm talking about a business book for homeschooling. So it is written by Greg McKeown, and it's about the disciplined pursuit of less, doing less, but better. So let's get into it. If you're new to homeschooling, it can become overwhelming having to balance your child's education. Normally, for most people, they leave that up to the teacher at their school to do, but now it's your responsibility, and you probably feel like you have to do everything. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. You don't have to do it all. So Essentialism basically just helps you prioritize on what really matters most. And most things in life don't matter. The idea is that if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will prioritize it for you. The main principles of Essentialism is basically doing less but better. And it's also about being proactive with your energy and your time, because too often we're reactive because life happens and we're just reacting to everything. And instead of reacting to life, we need to be proactive, manage our lives so that when the unexpected does happen, we're able to deal with it without, major stress and anxiety and so forth. So let's talk more about how we can apply Essentialism to our homeschool. All right, so I have to admit that I am in the middle of brewing some kombucha. All right, so the first part to the book Essentialism is to explore what's all in our head, explore everything that we need to do, just explore. So that kind of relates to how I approach everything, is to journal. I journal about everything. I journal and I reflect and I explore not only our homeschool, but myself, making myself a better person, exploring ways that I can hold space for my kids so that they can be who they are rather than me dictating who they should be. So next, after, you do some journaling, you get to know yourself and your homeschool a little bit better and deeper, it's to identify your priorities. And I've talked about this before, identifying your homeschool mission, your why. Why are you homeschooling? What specific skills do you want to teach your kids? What kind of character do you want to develop in them? What are your values that you want to pass on to your kids? So your why is so important, and knowing your why will help you live an essentialist life. And then next, the book talks about investing in yourself. So that means sleep. You need to prioritize sleep. Sleep is important because if you don't have enough sleep, your brain isn't going to function very well, and your body is not going to function very well. You'll pretty much kill yourself if you don't get enough sleep. And so prioritize sleep. Prioritize play, not just for yourself, but for your kids too. Play is such an important part of how our brains process information. Being creative and getting inspiration. Like, I don't know about you, but my best ideas come when I'm out doing something else, not what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, now you get to see our homeschool mess right here. I had this table, I put this table up for, because we don't have like a very big island, so I put this table up usually during the holidays to put all the food out that we're gonna nosh on, and I kept it out after the holidays because I felt like it was a good place to put our homeschool stuff on, because we're in the kitchen. Not that we do all our homeschooling in the kitchen, but we congregate in the kitchen all the time. So the next part of explore is to be selective. Realize that not all opportunities are essential. Not all of the curriculum and the books and the resources that we come across online or through friends or whatever are essential. What other people are doing in their homeschool may not fit our needs. They are not essential. So we need to know what is essential, what is important. That will help lead a less stressful homeschool when we're more selective about what we let in to our homeschool. So now we move on to eliminate. So step 2 is to eliminate. Eliminate the things that are trivial, that we don't need in our lives. And so before you can start eliminating, you need to be clear on your goals. You need to be clear on your how. So that would be like a homeschool vision. How are you going to homeschool your kids? Hopefully you made a vision board. If you haven't done so yet, I do have a video sharing how my process of making a vision board, but you don't have to. Some people just write it down. You don't have to display it, but I think it's good to have it displayed because then you can see, it's like a constant reminder of your how, because it's so easy to get kind of sidetracked, cutting out the trivial and the non-essential. So that may look like eliminating the extracurricular activity that just doesn't fit the needs of your family. Your kids may not be into it, but you want them to. That's not essential. If they're not enjoying it, don't force them to do it. Getting rid of the curriculum that does not meet your needs. Like, don't force, what's the saying? Don't force a square peg in a round hole. Is that it? I don't know. Don't force it. Don't force a fit. Just get rid of it. It's okay. Just cut your losses and move on, because if it's not working for your family, you don't need it. So eliminate it. Maybe you need to step away from that co-op or that play group that you're in, or that Walden Free group that you're in that's not meeting your family's needs. Like, we stepped away from our Walden Free group because my oldest son wasn't into it. He wasn't enjoying going, and it was a struggle to get out of the house because he was so resistant. I just had to eliminate it, and we're okay. We're fine. And then also consider cutting back on the subjects. Like, you don't have to teach all the subjects. What are the essentials? And then teach that. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to have a curriculum for every single subject. A lot of subjects can integrate with each other. Like math and science easily integrate, history and language arts easily integrate. So you don't need to do all the subjects. Art can be weaved in everywhere. So yeah, just consider, what are the essentials? What are the essential subjects that you want to focus on? And then on top of it all, focusing on less allows you and your kids to dive deeper into topics and get a deeper, richer understanding rather than just surface level understanding of all these different topics. And I think that is way more beneficial. Trying to show all the possibilities out there for our kids to learn and love. Like, let's just focus on what we enjoy and what we're interested in. And eventually, like, if we're interested in something else, we can focus on that another time, but we don't have to do it all. And the next is saying no more often. I know for some, this is hard to do. I know it used to be hard for me as well, but saying no politely. You don't need to be mean about it. Like, saying no, that just doesn't fit into your schedule, or you don't want to be busy. So saying no is okay. Saying no to things that don't align to our priorities or goals frees our time to focus on those priorities and goals. It's okay to say no. You don't have to make people happy. Your job is not to make other people happy. And if someone gets upset because you don't have the time or energy to help out, or your family doesn't want to do something, it's okay. And you also need to learn to say no for your own energy. You should try not to get to the point where you are feeling extremely overwhelmed and at a breaking point. Know your limits, know who you are, and know when you need to stop and to refuel that cup. And I know a lot of people out there have an issue with the term self-care, but it's just taking care of yourself. Like, what is wrong with that? You want to live a long, healthy life? Then take care of yourself. I'm not telling you to be selfish and to ignore your kids. No, but you need to take care of yourself in order to take care of your family. It's like a no-brainer. And taking care of ourselves allows us to recharge and to re-energize so that we can be a better and more patient person for our kids. Like, when we are running out of energy, running out of bandwidth, running out of all the things, like for me, I tend to get a little bit snappy with my kids if I don't have that recharge. And so I always make sure throughout the day I give myself time to recharge, even if it's just like a 5-minute little bathroom break with the door locked and everyone knowing to leave me alone for a bit. That's what I'll do. If it's brewing some tea and closing my door when all my kids are busy doing something else and hoping they don't bother me for a few minutes, then that's what I do. If it's exercising or cooking, because cooking is a stress reliever for me. So those are things that I make sure I do. And then the third step of living an essentialist life is to execute on all the things that you need to do. So that would include creating a buffer. Very easy for us to think, oh, it's only going to take me 5 minutes to do this, or 10 minutes to do this, or 20 minutes to drive somewhere. But we all know that life never goes as planned. And to reduce the amount of stress and anxiety that we have, we should create buffers between activities. We should add 50% to our time frame. So say it's going to take us an hour to paint. I'm gonna go, it's gonna take us an hour and a half to paint because I know that we're gonna have to clean up afterwards. You know, my kids are taking swim classes and the swim classes begin at 8:30 in the morning. We're not really good at waking up in the morning, but I'm giving ourselves a buffer. We are waking up a little bit earlier so that we can get ready, because I know my kids are gonna be slow going. And then we leave a little bit earlier, even though I know it only takes 20 minutes to get there, we leave 30 minutes because traffic happens, or you know, some days you hit all the red lights. And next is to create routines. I know I've talked about routines before, and routines are not schedules. Routines are just how your day naturally flows in your homeschool, and don't fight the flow. It's not just your flow, you know, it's your kids' flow as well. And so having a good flow removes a lot of like mental energy. Like you have more energy for other like higher thinking tasks. And having a routine also eliminates decision fatigue and reduces stress, because everyone knows what's going on, what needs to be done. Just have a natural flow to the homeschool. You don't have to make all these choices, etc. But at the same time, you want to be flexible. Maybe a neighbor's going to come by and chat your head off for an hour or two. Or maybe a friend invites you to go on an impromptu field trip. Or maybe it snowed the night before and there's just a ton of snow up in the mountains here in Southern California. Our local mountains have over like 12 feet of snow, so that's quite significant. Usually it's just a couple of feet during the winter, if that. So maybe you're gonna go to the snow and go sledding. Finally, it's to focus on the now and enjoy the journey that you're on. It's too easy to think about all the mistakes that we made in the past, or to be future tripping and thinking of all the possible things that could happen in the future. And instead, enjoy the now, be present now, do what's important now, enjoy the journey now, reflect back on it as well, but enjoy it now and appreciate everything that's happening, because you know, soon our kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna leave the house. We're gonna miss them. So enjoy the now. I would love to know, what are your key takeaways from this? And if you are on Instagram, follow Jen Myers from Homeschool CEO. She had a post about this book as well and her key takeaways. And I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao.